So, Abby, tell me about your grandma. I heard she wasn't doing very well.
Yeah, I actually just found out she got diagnosed with type 2 diabetes.
Really? Do you know much about it?
No, I actually don't know very much about it at all.
Can I explain it to you?
Yeah, that would be actually really helpful.
All right. So, basically, diabetes is a chronic disease. It's a chronic condition where your body can't process glucose correctly. Do you know what glucose is?
I can't say I do.
Okay. So, when you eat, especially when you eat carbohydrates, your body breaks it down into a compound called glucose. And glucose is the primary energy for cells. And so every cell in your body needs glucose to function, except it can't get into the cells without the help of a hormone called insulin. Insulin is produced by your pancreas. And honestly, it kind of acts like the way a charger does for like an electronic device. Because what insulin does, it enters the cell first, or it locks into a receptor. And the receptor allows the door for the glucose to open and the glucose can now go in. And so it's kind of like a charging cable. So you plug it in, and now since it's plugged in, the glucose can enter the device or the cell and charge it up and energize it. So that's basically how insulin works. And the reason why you have the reason why there are problems with diabetes is because diabetes prevents this insulin from getting into the cell somehow. So either your body's not producing enough insulin because your pancreas has been worn out from constant fluctuation of hormones and constantly producing more insulin, or there's something preventing the insulin from reaching the cell receptor. So like, I think the most common of these things is fat. So like if you're obese, that's what causes your insulin not to be able to get into the receptor and therefore allow the glucose to come in. So it would be kind of like a piece of lint getting into the little charging port. Like you couldn't plug it in and let the energy from the glucose from the electricity to come into the device and charge it up. Does that make sense?
It does, yeah. That's really interesting. So could I ask about symptoms and like treatments? Like what do they do to help my grandma since she does have type 2 diabetes or things like that?
Definitely. So they probably screened many symptoms on her. But a number of them come from the fact that when you have excess glucose in your blood, because it's not going to your cells, it's making your blood thick and viscous. And the fact that it's so thick means it can't reach this tiny little capillaries in your skin and anywhere else in your body that has small capillaries that needs blood. So like, this is why people with diabetes have eye problems, because your eyes have small capillaries that need blood and it's too thick to get there, and so you get blurry vision, which could lead to cataracts. And also there are other problems that relate to that, such as sexual problems, because your blood can't get to your reproductive organs. On top of that, your wounds don't heal because, especially like skin abrasions, because those are small capillaries that reach those areas of your skin. On top of that, nerve damage, and like you can experience tingling and numbness in your nerves and fingers and toes because like there's not enough blood getting there, again because it's so thick. Also, like, since you have excess glucose in your blood, your body is constantly trying to get rid of it, and so you're urinating frequently, and because of that you're thirsty because you're getting rid of the water, and that your water is being used to urinate the glucose through. And also you're hungry. And you're hungry, and it's interesting because you think, well, I have all this glucose, why am I not like full? I just ate, and why am I feeling this way? That's because it's not getting to your cells, and your cells are saying, I need glucose, I need food, I need fuel, because it's a primary fuel source of your cells. So you're always hungry, you're always tired, you're always thirsty. You're tired because your brain isn't getting enough glucose, so you get foggy and lightheaded, and you can't think properly. And also, this is surprising, you lose weight rapidly because your body, it can't use glucose for fuel, so it starts taking it from other stores in your body, like your muscles and your fat stores. Do you think your grandma has experienced many of these?
She has like mentioned tingly like fingers and things like that, so that actually makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and as far as treatment goes, there are a number of treatments that can be helpful for patients with diabetes. Among these are oral medicines, physical activity, not living a sedentary lifestyle, monitoring your blood glucose so that you can try to keep it in a proper range, carb counting. That can be helpful, especially for women who need about 45 to 60 grams of carbohydrates per meal. And yeah.
That's super helpful. I'm so glad I know about this now.
Yeah. Also, don't worry. You could be at risk for diabetes, but as long as you keep your physical activity up and watch what you eat, you should be fine. And you can prevent some long-term complications like cataracts that could come from your eye problems. And other complications are like kidney failure because your kidneys are overworked. And another organ that's overworked is your heart because you're trying to pump them super hard, like viscous blood. And another long-term complication could be neuropathy, which is when your nerves die off because they're not getting enough blood that they need.
That's really interesting.
Yeah.
Thank you for informing me.
My pleasure.
Super helpful.
I'm glad I could.